Welcome, my friends, to a tale of love, mystery, and scandal in a small town. Enjoy the story. The bell above the door jingled as Claudia Pembroke stepped into Willowbrook General Store with her head held high. She eyed the other women, Marge, Betty, and Sue, who were gossiping by the produce. They fell silent as the wife of former town chairman Robert Pembroke approached the counter. "Good morning, Anastasia," Claudia said with a tight smile. Anastasia Green, a petite woman in her 60s, looked up from the cans she was stacking. "Claudia, what can I do for you?" Claudia glanced back at the other ladies before leaning in. "I have a proposition. Your granddaughter Sonya just graduated high school, didn't she? Top of her class, I hear." "She did," Anastasia said coolly. "Smart as a whip, that one. Off to State U on scholarship in the fall." "Well, before she goes, I think she should consider Henry. It'd be a good match. Chairman's son, straight-A student. The families go way back." Anastasia slammed a can down. "Absolutely not. Sonia's focused on her future, not getting tied down. And you're one to talk about good families. Everyone knows that nouveau riche husband of yours only got his position by greasing the right palms." Claudia recoiled as if slapped. The other women snickered behind their hands. "Well, I never—" "No means no, Claudia. Good day." Anastasia turned her back. Claudia huffed and stormed out, the door slamming behind her. Marge sidled up to the counter. "Sure told her, didn't you, Anastasia?" "Someone had to. That woman thinks she runs this town." Anastasia sighed. "I just pray Sonya steers clear of that son of hers. He's nothing but trouble." 12 years ago, blue and red lights strobed across the night sky as fire trucks roared up to the blazing Thompson house. Neighbors gathered in robes and slippers, hands over mouths, as flames consumed the small wood home. "It's Dave and Linda's place," someone murmured. "Are they?" "Still inside," another said grimly. As firefighters battled the inferno, 5-year-old Sonya Thompson huddled on the curb, soot-streaked and shaking. A police officer draped a blanket over her small shoulders. "Is there someone we can call, honey?" he asked gently. "Family?" "Grandma," Sonya whispered. Soon, Anastasia's beat-up Ford pickup skidded to a stop. She leapt out and ran to embrace her sobbing granddaughter. "I've got you," she murmured. "I'm here now. You're safe." But as Anastasia gazed at the smoldering remains of her daughter's house, she knew things would never be the same. Alcoholism had already stolen so much, and now it had taken Sonya's mom and dad forever. That night, as Sonya slept fitfully beside her, Anastasia made a vow. She would raise this child right, give her all the love and opportunities Linda had thrown away for the bottle. One day, Sonya would make something of herself and break free from this God-forsaken town that dragged people down. 12 years later. Golden sunlight slanted through the stained-glass windows of St. Matthew's Church as the Willowbrook High graduating class fidgeted on folding chairs. 18-year-old Sonya Thompson stood at the podium, her royal blue cap and gown a splash of color in the sea of maroon. And as Robert Frost said, we have miles to go before we sleep. Miles of discoveries to make, dreams to follow, lives to change. And after today, I'll travel those miles as Dr. Sonya Thompson, physician. The small crowd erupted in applause as Sonya found her grandma's shining eyes in the front row. Anastasia had scrimped and saved for this moment. Her girl, valedictorian, with a full ride to State University and a future in medicine. Sonya had studied her heart out while waitressing nights at the diner, but she'd made it. They both had. As the graduates filed out after the recessional, tossing caps in the June heat, Anastasia pulled Sonya into a crushing hug. "Your mom and dad would be so proud, God rest 'em. I know I am." Sonya smiled through tears. "Couldn't have done it without you, Grandma. You're my rock. And you're my shining star, sweetheart. Now let's get to the diner for your party. Sadie's been baking up a storm." Neither noticed the tall figure watching them from beside a shiny red Corvette. 20-year-old Henry Pembroke, the chairman's son, lowered his sunglasses to admire the pretty blonde as she laughed with her friends. Sure, she was one of the charity cases, but with those looks and brains, he could mold her into the perfect society wife, one that would make Daddy take him seriously at last. Henry sauntered over with his most charming grin. "Sonya Thompson, mind if I become your first official suitor as a high school graduate?" Sonya stiffened and turned, blue eyes narrowing. I'm flattered, Henry, but I don't date arrogant rich boys who think they can buy me. Henry's cheeks flamed. I didn't mean… Thanks, but no thanks, Sonya said coolly. She linked arms with her friend Jessica. Come on, I want to get to my party. As she walked away without a backward glance, Henry seethed and clenched his fists. Behind him, his buddies Anders and Jay chuckled. Ooh, shot you down, Hen. The Ice Queen ain't interested. We'll see about that, Henry growled. No one says no to me. Sonya Thompson doesn't know who she's dealing with. Anastasia squeezed Sonya's hands in the bustling State U dorm. You have everything? Textbooks, sheets, snacks? I'm all set, Grandma, don't worry. Sonya looked around the cement block room hung with inspirational posters. Can't believe I'm really here. Pre-med. Believe it, Anastasia said firmly. This is just the beginning. You study hard and show 'em what you're made of. No limits for my girl. I will. Love you. Sonya embraced Anastasia fiercely. I'll miss you. Thanks for… everything. Love you more. Call if you need anything. Anastasia kissed her forehead. Go get 'em, and steer clear of distractions if you know what I mean. Sonya rolled her eyes with a smile. Don't worry, I'm here to learn, not get a Mrs. degree. Boys can wait. If only that were true for everyone, Anastasia thought grimly on the drive home to Willowbrook. Lately the town had been buzzing about a change in leadership. Seemed the state was investigating Robert Pembroke for shady dealings, and the chairman was likely to be ousted. Sure enough, Anastasia returned to the store after unloading Sonya's luggage to find the local gossips in a tizzy. It's official! The Pembrokes are out! Betty stage whispered by the tomatoes. Anastasia humphed as she rang up the ladies' purchases. Couldn't have happened to a more deserving couple. Robert thinking he was untouchable, Claudia lording over everyone. It was high time the town got some honest leadership. But who would fill the power vacuum? Anastasia shook her head as she straightened cans of beans. Didn't matter much in the grand scheme, long as the farm kept operating and Sonya stayed far away from Willowbrook's dirty laundry. That was all she cared about. Order up! Alex Novak, the new owner of the Willowbrook farm, strode into the garage with a grin. Brand spanking new, state-of-the-art tractors and tillers. We'll have 'em tilling up a storm in no time. The weathered farmers nodded slowly. Hope so. Been making do with some real antiques, Joe said, wiping greasy hands. Not anymore. I'm here to bring Willowbrook into the 21st century, boost productivity, improve everyone's lives. You'll see. Alex had swooped in like a whirlwind after the Pembrokes' downfall, injecting new energy into the sleepy town with his plans and boyish enthusiasm. Some were skeptical about the 25-year-old business school grad, but no one could deny he had deep pockets, or that the fresh coat of paint and new fleet of farm equipment were welcome changes. Still, Anastasia remained wary as Alex made the rounds, flashing that megawatt smile. Too many empty suits had come through over the years, making grand promises before swindling the town and moving on. But as the weeks turned to months and the crops flourished, even she had to admit, maybe Alex was the real deal. Until the rumors started flying at Ladies' Aid one Wednesday. Well, I heard from Claudia that Sonya's been hiding out in the city, refusing to come home, Marge said over the quilt squares. What do you mean, hiding out? Anastasia asked sharply. Oh, didn't you know? Claudia smirked. Apparently your golden girl is pregnant as can be, but no ring on her finger. So much for saving it for marriage. Anastasia gripped her needle, fighting the urge to lunge over the fabric and strangle that harpy. My granddaughter's personal life is none of your business, Claudia Pembroke. But unwed mothers are everyone's business. Shameful, really. Claudia shook her head. What is this world coming to? As gossip swirled around her like vultures, Anastasia left the church hall shaking. Sonya, pregnant out of wedlock, working so hard for her degree, only to get knocked up. It couldn't be true. Unless, Anastasia's heart seized. That Pembroke boy, always sniffing after her. What if he'd shown up at college, taken advantage? But no, Sonya was too smart for that. Her whole body ached to call Sonya, demand answers. But after speaking briefly on the phone to confirm Sonya was safe and cared for, Anastasia decided to let her granddaughter have space. Sonya had always held her cards close. Pushing would only make her pull away. So when nosy old bats rang the doorbell or buttonholed Anastasia at the market, she only shook her head. "You'll have to ask Sonya when she gets back," was all she would say, jaw tight. Lord, let her get back soon and in one piece. By the time Sonya's green 1999 Honda pulled up outside the faded blue house on Maple Lane, half the town was already camped on the lawn. As Anastasia hobbled down the front steps, shooting daggers at the gawkers, the passenger door opened. Claudia craned her neck for a glimpse of Sonya's protruding belly. Marge, Betty, and the other biddies held their breaths, ready for the scandal to unfold. Even a few of the high school boys lingered by their bikes, eager to see Willowbrook's former Golden Girl brought low. But the person who stepped out was no fallen woman. It was Alex Novak, beaming in a pressed button-down. He hurried around to open Sonya's door and lift a swaddled pink bundle from the back seat. A gasp rippled through the crowd as he handed the baby to a glowing Sonya. When she stepped into the sunlight, a glint of gold sparkled on her left hand. "Surprise, Grandma," Sonya said with a tremulous smile. "Meet your great-granddaughter, Nadia Thompson Novak." Anastasia's hands flew to her mouth. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she beheld the family on the lawn. Sonya, radiant in lace-trimmed maternity clothes, a protective Alex cradling the infant, aunts, uncles, and cousins surging forward with hugs and gifts. "I'm so sorry I kept it a secret," Sonya said as Anastasia peppered the baby's downy head with kisses. "Alex and I wanted to get married at the courthouse, have the baby before we made it public. Do things on our terms, you know. We met at a young farmers' convention, fell in love over soil chemistry." She laughed wetly. "I was going to tell you truly once she was born, but then I got your letters about the rumors and knew I had to come straighten it out in person. Can you forgive me?" "Oh, honey, there's nothing to forgive." Anastasia placed a weathered hand on Sonya's cheek. "You did it your way, just like always. I'm so happy for you. A doctor and a devoted husband and daddy. All my prayers answered." Claudia stood gaping as the joyous family piled into the house, surrounded by a swirl of well-wishers. Henry kicked the dirt by his Corvette, calculating if he could still make a play. But at the look of pure love on Sonya's face as she handed off the baby to Alex, he thought better of it. Instead, he stalked over to Taylor, the pretty new cashier at Pembroke Market. May as well drown his sorrows in feminine admiration, even if it came with a side of vapid chatter. "They're going to be yakking about this for years," Alex marveled as he and Sonya sat on the porch that night, Nadia snuggled between them. A warm breeze ruffled the pages of Sonya's organic chemistry textbook. "Willowbrook's juiciest scandal that never was. Ha! Oh, let them talk. I don't care one whit." Sonya leaned into his shoulder. "I have you, and our little nugget here, and a future so bright I gotta wear shades." She slid her sunglasses from her hair with a grin. "Dr. Thompson Novak has a nice ring to it, huh? I'm thinking pediatrics. Deliver all the little Willowbrook bambinos and give them a good start. And maybe Farmer Novak will run for chairman someday. Bring this town into the modern era for real." Sonya laughed. "Not sure if Willowbrook can handle all your big ideas, babe. They're still smarting over how you swept in and stole the mysterious pregnant girl." They better get used to things not being how they seem." Alex tickled Nadia's cheek. "Case in point, this little peanut. Isn't that the truth?" Sonya pressed a kiss to Nadia's forehead, then Alex's stubbly cheek. "The best surprises are the ones you never see coming, and we, my loves, are in for a whole lifetime of wonderful surprises."